Norfolk Island is renowned as the home of the descendants of the Bounty mutineers, and now another insurrection is brewing there. This time, the target of rebellion is Canberra and its administrator, the former Liberal MP Gary Hardgrave. The islanders claim he's running roughshod over them. Australia took over the administration of Norfolk in June, saying the island was in financial turmoil and lacked basic services like health and social security. But it's led to a bitter divide on the island, as Mark Willesee reports.
We got darling singing a hula tune, we got everything.
It may be a lonely speck in the Pacific, home to 1,400 people, but the issue of who controls Norfolk Island has divided this community and inflamed passions on the other side of the world.
It's an annexation. They don't want to be run by Canberra. Who does?
We know about the egg throwing and the tyres being punctured and people being spat on.
It's a mutiny against Australian rule that's seen unlikely alliances forged on behalf of the people of Norfolk.
You know, and I feel for these people. I can understand their demise, and it's pretty damn tough.
We should prize these people. They are part of our history.
And in what sounds like a throwback to the island's mutineer past, one man is being painted as a modern incarnation of the notorious William Bligh.
If you don't run with the pack of dogs, someone in the pack's going to savage you.
Former Liberal MP Gary Hardgrave was the man put in charge when Australia abolished self-government on Norfolk in June. Today, he's returning from a trip to the mainland, and waiting at the airport with a welcome back message is a group of independent supporters.
God save the Queen! Well, it's just all part of the bullying that they do here. My wife's been spat on, my wife has been hit. She's had the full vernacular of four-letter words called at her, mainly because she's my wife.
This administrator treats us like a bunch of little natives. He has never shown respect to the people of Norfolk Island. So maybe he's getting back what he's giving out.
Ernie Christian is a direct descendant of the chief bounty mutineer, and he's not a fan of the new man in charge.
I personally think he was sent here because he is an arrogant bully, and he was sent here to do a job, and that was to divide us and to conquer.
But Ernie Christian admits tensions have boiled over. This year, he pleaded guilty to slapping a supporter of the takeover. A former chief minister of the island says some people are taking things too far, and that Australia had good reason for moving in.
We put our hand up in 2010 for some funding from the federal government, from the Australian taxpayers, because we couldn't pay our bills.
This is the centre of the resistance to the Australian takeover, here at Norfolk Island's former Legislative Assembly. And it's a very up-close and personal protest against the administrator Gary Hardgrave, because right across the road here is his official residence.
Radio Norfolk, news and information.
Some here accuse the Australian administration of gagging free speech, including vetoing community notices on the island's only radio station.
Anything opposed to what was happening on Norfolk Island was not allowed to be broadcast over the radio station.
We have absolutely no role in that, never have, and don't want it, because we believe, as awkward as it can be sometimes, in people's fundamental right to free speech. I mean, people also have a fundamental right to be stupid as well.
But 730 has obtained an email from the administration's transition manager banning an announcement about a flag-raising ceremony by a pro-independence group because it was not for the benefit of the community. And opponents of the takeover say they've been frozen out on other fronts by the Australian administration, alleging a pro-Australia contractor was given tenders for managing hospital and school projects.
To me, they're not after the most qualified person to do any job, it's jobs for mates.
An internal audit report obtained by 730 does raise questions about spending on consultants by the administration. It found that there was no record of quotes being received as required, and it warned that two senior administration officials had possible conflicts of interest for engaging firms they had connections with.
Look, all I know is that if there has been anything that's untowards that's occurred, then auditors should follow it and sort it all out. I fully support a complete and open inquiry into any of that conduct.
The people don't want this, and they have not asked for the money from Australian taxpayers to be thrown at it like this.
Hello, John. Welcome to the island. Thank you.
One Nation leader, Pauline Hanson, is leading the mutiny against Canberra, even skipping Senate estimates to visit the island to record messages of support for the anti-Australia cause.
They have a right to their own culture, their own governance, and now it's been taken away. Let's find the truth behind this.
Andre Nobbs traces his roots back to one of the old Pitcairn families who settled Norfolk Island 160 years ago. Today, the former Chief Minister is packing for a long journey. He's taking the fight against the Australian takeover of Norfolk to the British Parliament.
History is being rewritten around us about who we are and who we were. Our political heritage has been completely erased.
They made one of Tony Abbott's mates, a Queensland shock jock, made him the administrator.
In London, to rustle up support, Andre Nobbs has enlisted the prominent human rights lawyer Geoffrey Robertson, who's presented a petition to the UN against the takeover. He says the Australian system imposed on Norfolk Island is a mishmash that leaves them unrepresented.
They're going to be under New South Wales law, and they've got no right to vote in New South Wales. What they can do in federal elections is vote in the ACT. Now, Canberra is 1,900 miles from Norfolk Island.
For small countries, for territories, for islands.
London is even further away, but a group of British MPs is also pressuring Australia to relax its grip on Norfolk Island.
We need to say to Australia, just stop, row back, work with the local people, come to an agreement whereby Norfolk Island can, if they choose, remain under the administration of Australia.
The sun is setting on another day on the island, and people are gathering to welcome Andre Nobbs home from the UK. It'll be months before they know whether the petition to the UN was successful. Here inside the old Legislative Assembly compound, the spirit is one of defiance.
They will never break our spirit, never ever. They'll never break the Norfolk Island spirit.
Your histories are famous.
Fluttering above the gathering as the darkness descends is a reminder of this island's past and of the current division over Norfolk's sovereignty.
This has been part of the Australian story since 1788. For 20 years, the Parliament of Australia did not exercise its responsibility to Australian citizens on Norfolk Island. We are now. No one's walking away from that.
Well, it's a rich irony, isn't it, that the initial persecutor that led them to Pitcairn and then to Norfolk was Captain Bligh, and independence now is being snuffed out by Malcolm Bligh Turnbull, named in honour of the cantankerous captain.